Welcome back, anime fans, to Ghost in the Cloud, your anime podcast. My name is John, and with me is Bridget.
Hey!
We were originally planning this week to talk about the one and only Cowboy Bebop. However, that's going to have to get pushed back due to some unforeseen circumstances.
The common
However,
cold.
that should be
happening.
coming in a week or two, so look forward to that. Instead, we took a look at the Irregular Magic High School movie, The Girl Who Calls the Stars. This movie came out last year in 2017. Based on the light novel series written by Tsutomu Sato. The film was produced by 8-Bit and directed by Risako Yoshida, featuring an original story by Sato and music by Taka Iwasaki. The movie events will unfold between the 10th and 11th volumes of the original novel, and the film itself was released in Japan in June. It follows our characters. Spring break has arrived for the classmates at Magic High. While vacationing on an island off the coast of Japan, which just also happens to be a military base, an evil plot is discovered. Cloning has taken place to fuel a giant CAD, the device to which magicians use to cast their magic. A rogue military group has been developing this technology to destroy military satellites in orbit by using clones to cast the spells. The heroes of the story stumble upon this and in turn set off to stop it.
I don't know why, but something you said, it sounded like you said military salads.
Well, it was military satellites.
I heard salads, I'm sorry. But that sounds awesome though. Military salads sound like healthy and well balanced.
Probably would
You did
be.
say the word of the week, and the word of the week is spring break, which is Haruyasumi. Haruyasumi.
There you
It's one
go.
word there.
Spring break.
That's just Haruyasumi.
Did spring break start and happen in the U.S.? I
You
don't even
know,
know.
I haven't been in school.
We don't know.
Such a long
We don't
time.
care. It doesn't
I'm really
matter.
out of that loop. I think it's around Easter. Yeah, I think it's either the week before or the week after Easter, depending on the school. So it's happening now.
Anyway, it don't matter.
It
doesn't
does not matter at all.
Unless it helps you listen to our podcast.
And
then
watch
it
more
very
anime.
much matters.
Then it matters so much,
and
guys.
we love spring break. So, first up, does this movie stand on its own? Following the show is very sort of complicated. I don't really understand what's happening the majority of the time, or how this world even works completely.
Yeah.
The movie itself simply, to me, seems like an episode.
It's another extended episode, which I should just add for those just tuning into our show. We do have an earlier episode that covers the show, the Irregular Magic High, and we did discover it at length. And we kind of just brushed over the topics that we talked about before we started this episode. And the first one was, what is even happening? What is even going on? So, which made us laugh because, yet again, I feel like it's just a continuation of the chaos of this world.
Yeah, so if you can go back, you can check out episode 22, The Irregular Magic High School. So again, it follows the main characters that we saw throughout that season. Not much has changed. I don't think it's too far into the future. Maybe within the year. Right?
Yeah, it's the spring break that's just after the school term the show actually follows. So I think it's like immediately after this, the term wraps up, they're on spring break, and this is what happens during spring break. I feel like you can't knock it just because it doesn't stand on its own. For those who love the show Firefly, not an anime, but a great show, they came out with the movie, Serenity, and the movie, though, was for the fans to wrap up the show. So it was crucial for the people who really loved the show. They wanted to know where it was going. Let's wrap everything up that wasn't explained, and the movie did that. But it wasn't strung by itself because you needed to see the show first to understand what was happening. So in some cases, I understand if a movie doesn't stand on its own, but in this case, not only does it not stand on its own, but it doesn't really explain anything in the show that I wanted to explain, which we'll talk about later. It kind of is just another long episode, like you said.
Yeah, that's really what it feels like.
Yeah,
they don't really develop the characters further.
That's my biggest complaint.
Tatsuya is an unstoppable force, which I'm not always a fan of.
That now looks like Darth Vader.
Yeah, you get some weird military tech throughout the movie, and just doesn't. The show originally didn't do anything for me, so a movie kind of gives it an opportunity to breathe new life into it. And I don't think they did that really at all.
No.
They brought in the characters, and they gave some of the other characters more sort of, I guess you could say, screen time like Erica, they had her as like a big focus. And I know they did in the show as well.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe she's considered like a fan favorite, and that's why they gave her more time. They had some of the side characters in it originally, but then they get brushed aside, like sent home. They even bring back the former president of the school, Mayumi, and she does sort of like one thing, and then she's off screen. They do, however, introduce a new character, Lena. She's this young girl. She's a military.
High up in the ranks, though.
Yeah, she's a general, I think it was. She's a badass all her own. She is essentially Tatsuya, right? She's the female equivalent to Tatsuya. She has crazy power. She's young, just like he is. He's 16. She's probably around that age as well. Mm-hmm. And like the movie starts, she just comes back from a mission and she's sent off on another one. You don't really get an understanding of how the military works, why they're using such young people. There's no explanation.
I mean, if they were to go into an explanation that magic is most potent with someone that is coming of age, that would explain it all. Like why they use such young people for the most dangerous missions, for the most high ranks, is because magic is just the most powerful when your body's at their prime. That would be a really cool explanation, but they don't go into it. But you do get an idea that Lena is a former acquaintance of Tatsuya and his sister, because they know her. They see that certain magical sequences are being used out in the battlefield, and they're like, oh, that's Lena. We know that's Lena's move. So you kind of get an idea of what Tatsuya's life used to be like when he was still doing missions for the military. You get an idea that he must have at one point been working with Lena, but it's really just assumptions because they say they know her, but they don't really go into it. And they end up finding each other on opposing sides of this battle.
Although they're both kind of going for the same result. It's just
different methods.
Yeah, different methods. Lena is tasked with destroying this island that's doing these experiments, and due to sort of unforeseen circumstances, Tatsuya and his group are kind of brought in accidentally by an escaping patient, I guess we can call him.
She was an experiment.
She was
cloned.
Yeah, she's one of 9. This young girl, she's a clone. Koka, I believe her name was.
Kokwa. It's fine. Don't glare at me.
She escapes with the help of one of the scientists because every time they use her for these magical sequences, it kind of it takes something from her. It takes away from her life, her personality. They even mention at one point, like, she's really small to be a 14-year-old.
Yeah,
like,
underdeveloped. Like the 9 girls, they have the minds linked together during this huge, powerful magical sequence, which is so powerful that it actually controls and alters the course of meteors in outer space, which is mind-blowing. And it's so powerful, and they have to use it so often that it just wipes the brains of these 9 girls.
Well, they don't have to use it so often. This military area I got the feeling they're like a rogue military group. You know, they're trying to show their power by doing these things, but they don't actually want to hurt anyone. They kind of just want to say, hey, you should pay attention to me. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. They end up hurting these girls. They end up potentially hurting Japan. In the very beginning, they use the power of these girls to alter the course of an asteroid, a meteor. And the meteor ends up falling towards Earth in a trajectory it would never have come to. They send Tatsuya out to take it down, and he does. And you don't really see that. It sort of happens in the background. That's the kind of stuff that's going on. You have these military people not talking to each other. Like Lena and Tatsuya have no idea they're even on essentially the same mission. Although he didn't take this mission on officially, he's doing it out of, I guess, some sort of emotional connection to this girl, even though he is shut off from the world.
Yeah, he even said, I know that I'm not supposed to feel sympathy, but I feel a responsibility that something like this should not be happening. People should not be getting cloned and then used for experiments. So I'm going to make sure this doesn't happen. And even at the end, he's like, mission it's not a mission, but it's complete. So he acknowledged he's kind of like he's in a mission, but not really. Great action scenes when they do get into their zone.
I didn't think it was even very good action. Like, I thought it was kind of bland compared to the regular show.
I don't think it was as good as the show, but I do enjoy the action, and I really like the music that they pair it with, because I like a lot of like trance and dubstep, and they do have a little bit of that in their music. So I'm a big fan of the soundtrack to the show, and of course, continuation, the soundtrack for the movie. So short but enjoyable. I saw Tatsuya's outfit and I was like, Anakin, is that you? You know, he was wearing this weird black outfit with a cape and a helmet, and he just looked like Darth Vader.
I think in the show at one point he wears an outfit similar, and I think it's just without the cape.
Yeah.
They were just like, let's give him a cape. It'll look cooler, which he doesn't. I think he looks stupid. But anyway, that's my opinion.
Yeah, and his, the helmet kind of he looked like a bad guy.
And you know what? It's hard to relate to him because he doesn't have emotions.
Right.
Like, he's just a robot. That's really what he is. All he cares about is his first sister, and like his sister's barely in it.
Yeah, she's not really
like she has enough screen time, but like it's not as if she does really anything at all.
Can I just say something about the screen time of the women of this show? Like, you start out in this movie and there's just like
they're on spring break. They're at a beach
they're all
resort.
in tiny bikinis and things are bouncing around. I'm like, okay, I get it. It was just not enough character development. Whole lot of fan service.
This wasn't really worth an hour and a half.
It was not what I was hoping for. When we watched the show, we said it has potential, but we really want the background of the two main characters, Tatsuya and Miyuki, explained. Their family seems very complicated and very powerful, like underground kind of powerful. And their aunt is in charge of the family. They had briefly touched on the fact that Tatsuya, he has an ability that the family found threatening. And rather than killing him, which they originally wanted to do, they instead sealed him off somehow from his power. By doing so, also sealed off his emotions, except for those of his sister. So that sounds interesting. I want to know more about that. And I was kind of hoping it would be the Serendipity of Firefly, like a movie that kind of goes back and explains something that happened. Serenity.
Serendipity. I was just like, what are you talking
Serenity
about?
To Firefly. Sorry,
that's a good movie though. Serendipity. I'm just saying.
Is it? Yeah. Okay, great. I was hoping it would be the Serenity to Firefly, where the movie goes back and explains something that was actually interesting in the show, and they did not mention it.
My biggest issue with this movie as well with the show is I don't understand how anything works.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't understand the state of the world. There was once World War III, and things have been very drastic since then.
Yeah.
Drastically changed. Okay, that's understandable, but you don't give me anything outside of Japan, really. Mm-hmm. And it's difficult to sort of understand and relate. There's not enough going on.
Lena, in the very beginning of the movie, she was in an airport in New Mexico. I was like, oh, cool, maybe it's going to show different parts of the world. And then she was on her way to Honolulu, and then it was just another corner of the world where they don't really explain anything else going on. It was just about the characters, so they didn't really touch on anything else. Just them. They showed more of this mesh of magic and technology. I honestly thought that was one of the better parts of this world. How they take magic and they take high tech and they mush it together. Usually they're supposed to be polar opposites, where magic and technology just don't work together. Some fiction says that magic tampers and messes up technology because they're polar opposites. So in this world, the magic is somehow like a sequence, as they call it, in a gun. They call them
CADs.
They call them CADs. And the CADs could be in all different shapes and sizes. And now we have a whole new level of CAD. This one is ginormous. It's
like a giant chamber.
Yeah, it is. It's huge. It's like 3 stories high, and at the bottom of it, these 9 girls sit in the bottom, and then they link together mentally using this giant CAD, and it shoots up this tunnel of light up to the heavens, and it changed the meteor direction. So that was a whole new level we've never seen before. We didn't ever see it on such a grand scale.
Meh.
We only saw it in a controlled environment in their school during competitions, and it was very friendly. But now we see it in battle. We see people that are, their lives are at stake, and it's a whole new level. So that was
lives were at stake in the show too. There's the whole.
Well, there was a gang that
that was another rogue military group that came in to try and steal some information from that was being held at the school.
Right, but most of the action in that show was just control competition.
I would disagree. I would say the show is significantly better action-wise than this movie.
Yeah, okay.
You're allowed your opinion, even though you're wrong. I'm just saying.
Saying we got to see magic on a grander scale.
Yeah, it was definitely bigger. I don't know if it was necessarily better, but it was definitely bigger.
Okay, so John doesn't think bigger is better. That's fine. But anyway, I even said before, like, maybe not as interesting, but more flashy, I guess. It had that going for it. But it was so short, and the action scenes were very small portion of the movie. So I don't think this movie was necessary.
The idea of, like, cloning rogue military groups, that, in my opinion, is strong enough to warrant its own season, even if it's like a 12-episode season, but you have to develop it better. This movie doesn't develop anything. It just is like, this is what's happening. This is how our guys are going to stop it.
Yep.
You know, and that's it. And it's a 1, 2, 3, and it doesn't really do anything for me. I would never rewatch this anime. Like, I don't think I would ever come back to it.
If they were to develop the characters, make something actually happen in their lives, then I would watch it. But I want to see Tatsuya, he's sealed off, his powers sealed off, his feelings sealed off. Let's take that off. Let's fix that. What would happen? What kind of person would it be if he actually had feelings for other people? If he had his full potential unlocked, how powerful would he be then?
I think he would go nuts. I think he would, like, go crazy. And
he could be the villain. That would be awesome.
Him. That would be kind of cool.
So something like that. You know, like, I can think of an infinite number of much better ideas than what was in this movie. I mean, you're welcome to watch it. Again, I did enjoy the action scenes, and I really enjoyed the music. But if you're looking for more background on these characters, you are not going to get it.
Yeah, I would like to see... I wouldn't mind watching a movie on this if it focused maybe on World War III.
Yeah.
And the fallout immediately after that. You know, that would be interesting leading up to the show, because I think it would give us more background. It would give us more to work with, something to sort of get our hooks in and just sort of anchor us to the world, which I don't think this anime does.
It's meh.
It is meh. You guys can definitely watch it. You can let us know. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe there are opinions out there that would change our mind. You should let us know.
Actually, I wouldn't mind looking into the manga. Maybe the manga has more background than the anime reveals.
Reading.
Really?
No, I'm joking.
Really? Or if someone has already read the manga and it's got more to offer, please let us know. I
have no doubt that there's more to offer. But yeah, definitely let us know. You are going to have to Google this one, guys. We could not find it on our regular sites unless we missed it.
Yeah, it's not available on, it's not available on Funimation or Crunchyroll or any streaming service. But I did Google it, and I did find a couple websites that they were streaming it. So make sure your firewall is up when you click on it.
I'm going to delete this.
No!
We should not condone things that could get us in trouble. Anyway.
So, good luck to those who want to watch it. And, if you have a different opinion,
yeah, we'd love to hear it. Next week, hopefully, quotation marks, asterisks, we're going to be doing Cowboy Bebop, which deserves it. Because that show,
we want it to be great.
It's got to be 15 years old at this point, and it's still so good.
It's
so good.
Fantastic.
Can't wait for that one.
Yes. Don't forget, everyone, you can email us at gitcanime@gmail.com. Our episodes are always up on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, and Google Play.
Remember, on SoundCloud, you can listen to the soundtracks that Bridget normally puts together. However, this one may be a little difficult to find.
Yeah, it's only a year old.
But go back, listen to some of our older ones.
Yeah, I liked the original soundtrack for the show. Maybe I'll repost that. And, you can follow our Facebook and our Twitter and our Instagram. We also have our website, gitcanime.com. It's got all the latest news and everything up there. All the latest social media posts are up there. Yeah, we have some background on our guests on there. We got a lot of extra stuff, so you should check it out. And then, of course, if you want to support our podcast, we ask that you please give us a nice review, help get our podcast out there. Go on iTunes and subscribe to us on SoundCloud. I recommend SoundCloud. Check out patreon.com because, if you want to help support it, that is the best way. That would be awesome. We
would appreciate it.
Thanks, meows.
Bye.
So we'll see you guys next week, hopefully for an awesome episode of Cowboy Bebop with our guest, Joe.
Bye.
It's going to be awesome, guys. Bye now.